Stepney the Bluebell engine wasn't the only engine visiting Sodor. A diesel surveyed the shed. "Not bad," he said. "I've seen worse. At least you're all clean. It's not your fault, but your controller really should consider scrapping all of you and getting a diesels in to replace you all. Far more economical. A fill of the oil and a touch on the starter is all we need to be off. No bother having to wait around for pressure to build. They have to fuss around with you out-of-date kettles for hours before you're ready." James and Henry were outraged. They hissed steam at the diesel. "How rude," the big diesel flounced. "I think I'll sleep in the carriage shed tonight." All day long the other engines met the diesel. He kept up his commentary about steam engines as he worked. The fat controller's engines were fed up by the time night fell, and they put their smoke boxes together in the roundhouse. "Disgraceful," rumbled Gordon. "Despicable," fumed James. "Disgusting," spluttered Henry. "And to say such things to us," Donald commented. "It'd teach 'em a lesson we'd be wanting," finished Douglas. Even Winston and Helen were upset. However, as much as the engines tried, they couldn't come up with a suitable punishment for the diesel. Soon they were all drifting off to sleep. "Never mind," yawned Duck. "We'll think of something in the morning." "I'm sure we will," Stepney drowsed. Their chance came sooner than expected. The diesel purred comfortably the next morning. He was to take the Eagle Express, the lunchtime service that Winston usually pulled, as a time trial. It was longer than usual, with all 8 of the railway's diner coaches being readied for the trip. The diesel was being prepared, and an inspector was watching as a fitter made adjustments. The wind tugged at the inspector's bowler hat. The fitter checked the air intake and refitted the cover. "All set," he called to the crew. The diesel rolled out of his siding. "You little engines," he called to Duck and Stepney. "Look at me. Now I'll show you what diesels can do." He had hardly made it to the shed siding's throat when he spluttered to a stop. He coughed as black smoke billowed out from his exhaust. The inspector noticed nothing. He was looking for his smart bowler hat. The diesel seized as his engine was turned off, and the 2 little engines pushed him back into the shed. "My hat! Where's my hat?" the inspector asked. "Bother your hat," the fat controller said crossly as the inspector left to find his hat. "The train is due out in 10 minutes. You'll have to take it, Duck. Stepney, can you help too?" "Of course, sir. We'll make it there. It won't burst." "Oh, we'll most certainly try," Duck said doubtfully. The crowd cheered as Duck and Stepney backed down onto the train. The 2 tank engines dropped sand on the rails so they could get a good start. The fat controller was waiting anxiously with Stepney's controller on the platform. "I've gone ahead and called the electric junction, just to let them know that you'll be stopping there," he informed them. "Gordon will meet you at that point, so you only have to make it that far." "You can count on us, sir," Stepney said confidently. "We'll get there, and be early, too." The fat controller smiled and hurried to get a seat on the train. Soon the guard waved his green flag, and the train was on its way. They carefully negotiated their way out of the big station and into the tunnel. Ahead lay a stretch of countryside. "Now for a sprint," Stepney called to Duck. "Ready when you are," Duck replied. Their drivers opened the regulators and the 2 tank engines charged into the countryside. They whizzed through Thomas's Junction. Percy was most impressed. It wasn't long until they slowed again at Edward's junction. Edward was to help bank the train up the hill. He was already waiting at the platform as the train chugged through. As they neared the hill, Edward gradually started pushing. Both tank engines were glad for the help as they were able to catch their breath. Edward gave a peep-peep of farewell as the train crested the hill and snaked its way down into the valley. "Not much longer to go now, just a few more miles," Duck called to Stepney. "Oh, please, I could go on all day," Stepney replied. Soon they neared the electric junction. Randy the electric engine was waiting on the platform with Gordon. "Hello, Duck," he said politely. "It's not often we see you around here. Who's your friend?" "This is Stepney," Duck introduced. "We're taking a special, Randy." And he explained to Gordon and Randy about what happened. "That's one in the headlamp for old Diesel," Gordon laughed. "Two tank engines taking his place and arriving early. He'll never live that one down." Soon Gordon coupled up to the train and pulled it the remainder of the way. Duck and Stepney quietly returned to the big station, where the Diesel was still sulking. "Hello," James whispered. "You'll never believe what caused his breakdown. He sucked the inspector's hat into his air pipe. He's as sick as boiler sludge and won't move an inch." He chuckled. "And he calls us out of date," James added. Next day, it was time for Stepney to return home. The Vat Controller's engines were set. They had all liked Stepney's chipper and confident presence. Both the Fat Controller and Stepney's controller made speeches, and the Scottish twins made everyone sing Auld Lang Syne. "Good boy, Stepney," Duck said. "Come again soon." "Please do," added James. "You make Henry's snoring almost bearable." "Hey!" All the engines laughed as Stepney let out a whistle and departed for his long journey back home. But what about the Diesel? He had slumped off home early in the morning. He said goodbye to no one but left two things behind: a nasty smell of bad manners and a battered bowler hat.